Hello everyone, this is Providencia. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna do a come cook with me video. So everything that you're seeing right now is gonna be on this video. This video is a little bit long because it is from start to finish. And yeah, we're gonna be making this together. Before I start this video, I want to let you guys know if you could please give me a thumbs up, leave positive comments, because I've been feeling a little off with this channel. Like, I don't know. And I've been feeling like that for a while. If you watch my videos, then you know. I just feel like I'm not getting the views or the likes that I feel that I put my work into doing these videos. These videos are long, especially this one that you're about to see. I was in the kitchen for 4 hours. Yes, 4 hours. And I'm recording everything without the camera stopping at all. So imagine how much I gotta edit in order for me to provide this video for you guys. So it would be an honor if you guys, give me a like, leave positive comments, for that way YouTube can recommend my videos. Also, I will do these videos in shorts for those that love shorter videos. With that being said, let's resume with this video. So the first thing I'm going to do is my chuck steaks. And I am going to put this in the oven. Make sure you wash it with lemon or vinegar, whatever you have on hand. And yeah, that's the first thing you're going to want to do. In each pack is 2 steaks, which you're going to see in this video. The first thing I'm going to do is add my adobo. Just sprinkle a little bit. It looks like I'm sprinkling a lot, but this was very full and it was giving me problems to come out of the little holes. But sprinkle a little at a time. I am going to use sazon. Now for 2 steaks, I'm going to use 1 packet of sazon. I reserve the other half for when I flip it. Add black pepper to your liking. Add oregano to your liking. I have some fresh garlic here. Add as little or as much as you want. I'm adding a little bit at a time because I am going to flip these steaks and do everything that you just saw me do in this part. That is the other half of the sazon, so I'm sprinkling that as well. And you just repeat everything that you just saw me do. I'm gonna add 2 more steaks because again, this pack brings 2 steaks. These steaks are gonna go in the oven on 350 degrees and you will have to check it at least every hour.
Brindamos todas las copas, que se jode el trabajo. Coño, tírate un selfie que te ve 1,000,000. No hay trabajo en la mañana, un bendición. Baby, put your favorite dress on. And maybe we can skip and go right to the sequel. Prende Philly blunt, take a hit for the people. Que se joda el Instagram, que se joda.
Next, I'm gonna add some ranchero. Now, if you don't have ranchero, you could add sofrito. I will leave the link to my sofrito in the description box below. I'm gonna squeeze some limes. That is a total of 2 limes. I just like to cut it in 3s. So yeah, 2 limes. So again, we're going to put this in the oven at 350, and you're going to want to check up on it every hour, okay? Depending on how big these steaks are, it could take somewhere between 2 to 2.5 hours. Yes. Now my pan is very small, as you can see. So I am putting it one on top of another. But again, I'm going to check up on it every hour, and I'm going to always put the bottom one on the top and, you know, keep rotating. This is where I seasoned up all my steaks. I'm going to add a little bit of water to grab all the rest of the seasonings. Shake it up a little bit. You're going to cover it up with aluminum foil, very important. And you're going to put it in the oven at 350 and check up on it every hour. Next, I'm going to make my white rice. And what do you know? I actually gave you guys measurements because every time I do the rice, I never give measurements because I do everything in the kitchen just eyeballing everything. So I decided, let me take a moment to measure everything for my subscribers. So I hope you guys are happy. I'm going to add a cucharon of canola oil. You could use corn oil, vegetable oil, even olive oil. I'm going to add a tablespoon of garlic. Make sure your heat is on very low. You want the garlic to simmer for like 2 minutes, but you don't want the garlic to burn. Here I have 8 cups of rice. Now this is medium grain rice. The rice that I use is called Rico. I'm going to insert a picture somewhere in this video for you to know the brand of rice that I use. I always use that brand. Every rice is different. You read the label in the back and you will know how much cups to add and all that stuff. But I'm going to show you how I did my rice in this video. 2 different ways. It's time to add the water. I'm gonna add 6 cups of water. 6. So for 8 cups, I added 6 cups of water. And I ended up adding just a tad more. You're gonna see it in this video. This is how you know you got the perfect amount of rice and water. When your spoon stands up like this, that's a good sign, okay? If it's falling all over the place, you need to remove some water. I am gonna add about 1/4 cup of water, because we like our rice a little bit more fluffier. And again, as you can see, my spoon ain't going nowhere. That's right. So this is the trick to perfect rice. I'm gonna add some salt. Add to your liking. I'm going to taste the water just to see if I need to add a little bit more salt. You must do that so that way your rice is not bland. Take a moment to do it now before the rice dries up. So taste the water to see if you got to add more salt. At this point you want it on very high heat because you want your rice to dry up. Once your rice dries up, you're gonna want to go and mold this into a mountain. You don't want it to be like flat because then you'll have sticky rice on the side of your pots. Now you're gonna have sticky rice or pegado o con like Dominican says it in the bottom of your rice. But you don't want that on the sides of your rice pot, no. So put it into a mountain and you'll be good to go. I'm going to add aluminum foil, add the lid, and when you do this step, make sure you lower your rice on very low. Since this is a bigger pot, this is going to cook for at least 40 minutes. Next, I'm going to make some rice with black beans. Now this is for my husband. My kids don't like rice and beans together, so this is a small pot of rice. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of canola oil. Use any oil of your choice. Make sure your pot is very low. And about a kitchen spoon of ranchero. If you don't have ranchero, use sofrito. Let that simmer for a few minutes. I'm going to add a tablespoon of tomato paste. You could use at least a half can of tomato sauce, but to me I think it's best if you use tomato paste. So try to add the tomato paste and let it simmer for a few minutes. I'm going to add a tablespoon of garlic. Every time you add something, let it simmer for a few minutes. It brings out all the flavors. Next, I'm going to add some black beans. I did rinse it out and I used a can of black beans. So I have here 1/4 cup of water. I'm going to add it. Just for nothing don't burn in the bottom. And I'm sorry about my nails. You know that when you use sazon, even if you clean your hands and you're mixing the meat around, it stays inside your nails. But anyway. I'm gonna add some chicken bouillon. I hope I'm saying that right. And I am going to add about a half tablespoon of chicken bouillon. Now, I like to add that little by little because it could be a little salty. So you're going to see later on I added more. So taste as you go. Black pepper to your liking. Oregano to your liking. Also, everything that I'm using on this video is going to be linked in the description box below. So let's say if you like the pots that I'm using, it's all going to be in the description box below for you could know where you could get it at. I have here 3 cups of rice, which is the medium grain rice that I like to use. Mix it up very good. And then we're gonna add our water. I'm gonna add 3 cups of water. Again, taste the liquid just to see if you need to add a little bit more chicken powder or salt, whatever you want to add, which I ended up adding more. So again, taste as you go. At this point, put your heat up very high to make sure it dries up. I ended up putting a little bit more salt as well. And again, I'm tasting as I go. That's what I do in the kitchen. Taste as you go. You could always add chicken powder or salt, but you can never take it out once it's in your food. So just add a little bit at a time. Once your rice is dried up, I got some culantro here. I used about 4 or 5 leaves of culantro. If you don't have culantro, add cilantro. Make sure you cut the tips. And we're going to put it in the center of the rice. And we're going to kind of bury it. Once you do that, you form your rice into a ball or a mountain. I'm gonna cover it up with aluminum foil. And once I do this step right here, put the lid, I'm gonna put it on very, very low. This is gonna cook at least 30 minutes because this is a smaller pot. So it's gonna cook in 30 minutes. So while I was doing everything else, this was cooking for 1 hour and I'm checking up on it. I'm just gonna go and put the one that was on the top and the bottom and so forth. Don't throw away that broth, that could go on top of your rice and it's very, very delicious. Also, that broth makes the meat more tender, so don't throw it away. I'm gonna start preparing my pickled onions. We're gonna put these onions on top of the steaks when it's almost done. And it's very, very delicious. I'm also gonna use some of this onions for some boiled batatas that you're gonna see in this video. And you wanna cut them a little thin. I am going to add some extra virgin olive oil. I'm also going to add some white vinegar. And I'm going to add some salt, not too much. Mix it up and just put it aside. Here is the Dominican batatas. There's batatas that is like the Korean one. And I'm not saying anything to be funny, but it is just not the same. So try to get the Dominican batatas. We are going to fry these. I'm going to slice them up, but I'm also going to reserve half of it to boil it. I'm going to boil my batatas and I'm going to fry the sliced ones for my husband and my son. I've been on a little health journey and I've been eating a little different, so I eliminated sodas, fried food, rice, all that stuff. Yes, I've been doing it for a few weeks, but I still gotta cook for my family and I gotta cook for myself, so it's been a little challenging, but it is what it is. When you finish cutting your batatas, make sure you rinse it out real good. Put it in water and you're going to want to add salt to your water and put it aside. If you do not do that, it's going to brown up and you don't want that. Next, I'm going to do some garlic sauce because my husband wanted garlic sauce with his batatas. That's about 2 tablespoons of chopped garlic. You could also use this garlic sauce for your fried plantains. And what I'm going to add is extra virgin olive oil and vinegar. I'm going to put it in this video somewhere how many tablespoons of olive oil and how many tablespoons of vinegar I used.
Yo sé que te gusta.
Once you mix everything up, you're going to add some salt. Add salt little by little, taste it, and if it's to your liking, then you leave it as is. I felt like mine needed a little bit more salt, so I added more salt and put it aside. So my rice and beans is done, of course, because again, this is a smaller pot. What you're going to want to do is remove the culantro that was in the center and throw it away. And here is a close-up of the rice. Nice and fluffy. The grains are nice and open. Not sticky, but not hard. Just perfect. I'm gonna cover this up and let it cook for another 5 minutes.
Dame la comida buena, chicharrones, papita frita. Dame un bistec de cerdo, frijoles negros, comida rica. Eso, dame la comida.
Look at how beautiful my white rice looks. For those that always be like, oh, your rice comes out perfect. Now you got the measurements. But I always recommend that you look at the label from the back of your rice. And here's a close-up of the white rice. Ah, how beautiful that white rice looks. I usually make more white rice than yellow rice because my son, who's autistic, he loves white rice. He'll eat the yellow one, but when I make the white rice, he will eat 2-3 times. He loves white rice, so that's why I always make a lot of white rice in my house. So this is the second time I'm checking up on the steaks. And I'm just checking to see if it's tender, which it is.
Those steaks? Oh my god. I thought he was making just regular, like, just regular steaks. Like you normally do. I didn't know you make this.
As you can see, the steak got a little smaller, so now I could put it side by side. And if there is no bones coming out of your steaks, then you gotta cook it more longer, okay? This time I'm not gonna cover it up. I'm gonna put it in the oven just like that, and I'm gonna put it on 400 so we can have some color. Here I am cutting some limes, and this is just going to be for a garnish on the plate. Although my husband likes to squeeze limes into his steaks, chicken, anything. It was a snowstorm this day, so we didn't go to the supermarket, so I'm working with what I have, and all I had was tomatoes, so I cut a couple of slices of tomatoes. So I'm thinking to myself, I just don't want to add just slices of tomatoes, which is no problem. I want to make it, I want to make it festive. So I decided, let me make a vinaigrette for I could put on top of the tomatoes, which is what I did. I'm going to add some extra virgin olive oil. I'm also going to squeeze 1 lemon. If you want your vinaigrette to have a more lemony taste, squeeze more lemon into it. I'm gonna add some oregano, but I really wanted to add Italian seasoning. I think Italian seasoning works best for this recipe, but I didn't have none, so I added some oregano. I'm gonna add some black pepper, some salt. Again, add a little bit, and if you have to add more, then you add more. And mix it very well. I tasted it, and I'm gonna add more salt. Again, add salt to your liking. So I had a piece of Asiago cheese. I love Asiago cheese. Not a lot of people like it because it is strong, but I like it. My husband likes it. My kids are not really a fan of it, but we like it. So what I'm going to do is cut it into very small cubes. Now I was going to add the Asiago cheese on top of the tomatoes and then put the dressing on the top. But at the last moment I decided, let me just throw it in there since it's got to sit there for like a while. Let me put it in there for it could just soak in that vinaigrette. Here's the vinaigrette with the tomatoes. Now you don't have to add the cheese in there, but it does taste very good because it sits there in a vinaigrette and it just grabs all that delicious vinaigrette that you see right there. So I took the steaks out. The other one is in the other side. I just wanted to demonstrate what I'm going to do here next. And I know I'm using my hands, but this food is for me, my husband, and my 2 kids. So I can do that. And I'm always washing my hands. What I'm going to do is add some of them slices of pickled onions on top of the steaks. Add a little bit of its juice, very important. And I am going to reserve some for myself, and you're going to see why in this video. And then put it back in the oven for at least 5 to 7 minutes. Off camera, I ended up doing these brownies. These are the brownies that I'm using. My kids wanted some brownies, and let me tell you something, I was depressed, okay? Depressed that I couldn't eat none of those brownies because I'm on a little diet. But whatever. I made 2 boxes of those brownies, and I'm gonna put it in the oven. The steaks is finally done. It got some nice color to it. And here is the steaks. How delicious this steaks is, okay? My husband and my kids love when I make these steaks, especially my oldest son. He wasn't able to come to my house to eat steaks that day because it was a snowstorm, but he was pretty pissed off that he couldn't get no steaks. So the last thing I'm gonna do is fry the batatas because the batatas, they cook really quick, so I always leave this for last. Now with the batatas, you wanna cook it on medium low first because it's a little bit more harder to fry than the plantains, and you wanna make sure it's cooked inside. So I have some corn oil and I'm gonna start frying them. I do have this on medium low. Make sure you cook it that way for at least like 5 minutes, maybe 5 to 7 minutes. And then if you want to put it a little bit more high, put it a little bit more high for it to crisp up. Here I'm showing you my batatas. I boiled mine because again, I'm not eating no fried food. So yeah, those are my batatas. But let me tell you something. Don't get it twisted, okay? Boiled batatas is so delicious. Especially when you make it with salami, fried cheese, the onions, the eggs. Like sort of like the way you would eat like a Dominican breakfast with the mango. But instead you boil your batatas and you eat it like that. Very, very delicious. And it's very healthy too. So at this point, I do have it a little bit more high. And I'm just checking up on the color. Dominican batatas has a taste of its own. You do not have to really add like the ajo, which is the garlic, or none of that, no ketchup or nothing. You could just eat it just like that, fried with salt, and it is very delicious. And this is the way it looks when you take it out the oil. And here is the batatas. It was very, very depressing to not get a batata and take a nice bite because they are delicious. I love fried batatas, but I'm trying to work on my health journey this year, lose a couple of pounds, so yeah. Once they come out of the oil, the first thing you're going to want to do right away is add some salt. Don't add too much, but add some salt. It needs some salt, so please do not forget that. Make sure it's nice and hot when you put some salt. And here is my boiled batatas. You're gonna see my dinner later on in this video. Very depressing, but it is what it is. I cooked my pickled onions in this pot. I didn't add no oil or nothing, just the juice from the pickled onions. And I'm putting it right on top of my batatas. If you want to eat it that way for a healthier version, you can. Just don't forget to add a little salt to your batatas. I wasn't going to add this part right here, but a lot of people love how I plate, which is a huge compliment to me because food should not only taste good, but it should also have a great presentation. Well, in my book. So I decided to add this clip for you to see how I'm plating my husband's food. I like to use this bowl because it's plastic and it comes out more quicker when you mold your rice. You can find something like this at Dollar Tree. Yes, you can. And mold your rice and make it look pretty. Okay? If you cannot find them, I'm gonna get batatas because they are kind of hard to find. But if you cannot find them, you could just pair this up with fried plantains and use that garlic for your plantains. Delicious. I added the slices of tomatoes and I drizzled the cheese and the vinaigrette right on top. My husband said he loved the way I did that recipe. He was like, oh my god, that vinaigrette, the cheese, everything. Oh, he ate twice that day. Twice. And he took some to work the next day. Off camera, I made some corn with some honey and salt, and yeah, that's how I made the corn that day. I'm using a clean napkin. I like to wet it a little bit and I clean all of the imperfections of the plate. Now I'm going to make one of my son's plates. And here's a close-up of the white rice. Nice and fluffy, beautiful. Now you know how I make my white rice. You can leave your white rice as is, but I like to go a little extra, you already know. So I added some oregano on the top. If you want, you could also use dried parsley. Now my son don't like tomatoes or the cheese or like none of that stuff, so he's just gonna have his with white rice, steaks, corn, and the batatas. Put some of that sauce right on top of the steaks and around the rice. Listen, that sauce! Do not throw away that sauce. That sauce is so good with your white rice. Okay, do not throw it away. And this is my dinner. I'm saying that all sad. But this was my dinner. I had the boiled batatas with the onions and some tomatoes with the cheese and the vinaigrette and all that stuff. So now I'm going to show you my son's plate close up. Look at how juicy that steak is. That steak was falling off the bones. That's how soft and tender it was. The nice sauce. Delicious. The nice sauce that you could pair up with your white rice. You don't even need no beans when you make this meal with the white rice, because the sauce alone is delicious. And yeah, this is my son's plate. And this is my husband's plate. He loves rice and beans together, so since I haven't made it for him in a while, since I always make a lot of white rice because of my son, I decided, okay, I'm going to do some white rice, but I'm going to make him a little pot of rice and beans. He deserves it, you know? So that's why I made it for him. The batatas. You can add ajo on top of your batatas. You don't have to though, because again, batatas have a taste of its own. It's very delicious. The tomatoes with the cheese and the vinaigrette, corn. The nice juicy steaks. And here is my husband's plate. No wonder he's happy to be married to me. Shoo. And these are the brownies that I made. Yeah, I didn't make it from scratch, but it's the thought that counts. I made it for my kids, and that's all that matters. You do what you have to do to make your kids and your husband happy, or your wife, or your partner, or whatever. So yeah, that's it. That's everything that I made this entire day. Towards the ending of this video, you're gonna see a shopping list for every recipe that you just saw on this video. Take a screenshot, for that way you could know what you gotta buy in the supermarket to either make everything that I just made in this video or make one or two things from this video. So take a screenshot. It's all towards the ending of this video. Again, please give this video a thumbs up because I was in that kitchen for 4 hours. So you know how much editing I had to do just to do this video? Yeah, it's a lot of work. This video alone took me 2 days to edit. So please, it's very important that you give this video a thumbs up. Leave some comments, even if it's a heart emoji. This will help my channel get recommended. I don't know what's up with YouTube lately, like for real. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but I feel like they're not recommending my videos. And maybe that's my fault too, because I should post more. But I don't know. I've been feeling like that for a while now. So yeah, that's how I've been feeling. I do want to be consistent in this channel, but sometimes when I look at the numbers, sometimes it makes me feel like, oh, why am I working so hard in these videos, putting in all my energy and my time if I'm not even getting the numbers I'm looking for? So that's what made me wean back from this channel. I want to come back and I want to be consistent, at least put one full video once a week and put some shorts in between the week. But yeah, that's how I feel. So I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are enjoying your winter. Take care, God bless, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Rico gozar, por eso tiene